Welcome back to week 3 of R2's ROM reviews. This week I'm going to be checking out Stock MotoBlur on the GSM Droid Razr. So after having the Nexus for a while, I kind of forgot about the OEM skins, Sense and MotoBlur and TouchWiz and all that. But after playing with the Razr for a while, it seems like 9 out of 10 ROMs are going to be based off of the stock OEM skin. So instead of reviewing 5 or 6 of these, stock-based ROMs, I figured I would give you guys a review of actual stock, what most of these ROMs are going to be based off, where most of the features come from, the stability and all that. Not to say that the stock-based ROMs don't add anything new, but the majority of their features and stability are coming from the stock base. So let's get into it. So here we have the GSM Motorola Droid Razr. I've always been a really big fan of Motorola hardware, and this device, it hasn't made me go back on that at all. I absolutely love it. There's a few things that I don't like. As you see, there's a huge bezel around the edge. There's so much more room for screen. I really don't understand why they didn't take advantage of the real estate that they had in front of them. I also think that this square cutout up here for the camera looks kind of awkward. I guess I got used to the round cutout on the Evo and the Thunderbolt and the Nexus, but I just think it looks kind of odd. I kind of see why they went with that, because it fits with their whole cornered edges and things like that, but it just seems odd to me. Motorola also has very interesting haptic feedback. Most of the other phones have, I would call it soft feedback, but it's very crisp. You can kind of hear it a little bit, but it's very crisp and concise, and it doesn't go on for very long, but it just adds to an overall feel of quickness and slickness to the phone, which this phone is amazing in that department already. As you see, this is just flying through these home screens. I would actually say that this device is faster than my Galaxy Nexus. I can say that and not feel bad. This thing is absolutely amazing. Another thing that I think Motorola really gets right is HDMI. Not too many devices out there for some reason have HDMI out. The Nexus has MHL, which isn't too bad, but I have to have a special MHL adapter to use that. With the mini HDMI port, I pick up the mini HDMI cable, plug it in, and I'm good to go. I really wish that more devices would start implementing that, because HDMI, if you don't need it, it's not that big of a deal, but when you need it, it's a huge deal. As you see, I have my Evo back here set up to my TV so that I can watch movies and things on my TV because we don't have cable. It works perfectly and it's seamless. I use a Bluetooth mouse for it, and this would come in really big handy for a lot of people out there who don't have a VCR or a DVD player or whatever they're watching movies on. So as this is completely stock MotoBlur, it is running Android 2.3.5. It's there are ICS builds out there, but again, this is complete stock MotoBlur for the Droid Razr. There's no mods, nothing. As you saw on the home screen, I haven't even set it up. I've been playing with it just as stock, just to get a feel of what these other ROMs are working off of, where they're coming from. So it's running 2.3.5, so it's a little bit older. It's still genderbread, which of course is outdated a minute after it comes out. But like I said before, this thing it flies. I'm going through the app icons, pulling up the keyboard, going through this, the notification shade. There is no lag to be found on this phone whatsoever. It is absolutely amazing. The biggest, or one of the biggest downfalls of Motorola, obviously the bootloader situation is the biggest downfall, but the second one is always MotoBlur. People talk a lot of shit on MotoBlur, and usually it's justified, but it seems like I haven't really played with a lot of the other Motorola devices in the past. I had the Droid X, but we had OMFGB on it, and I didn't really get a chance to play with it stock. But it seems like it's toned down a lot. There's not really a whole lot of extra bullshit on it. There's a whole bunch of extra widgets, of course. The widgets actually seem to come in handy. They have a cool little gallery, all these toggles up here, separate toggles. Instead of having one power strip like AOSP has, it has separate toggles for each one. One of my favorite things about MotoBlur actually is the fact that I can actually grab a widget on the screen, and instead of saying, if I wanted to move it here, normally I would have to move this icon down here, move this over here. But on this, I can long press, scoot it over, and it will actually push everything out of the way. I think there are some ROMs, I think MIUI has this, but it's a small thing, but it really comes in handy. I mean, it's really frustrating sometimes. What I'll end up doing is I'll put a tiny widget on the screen, and then I'll move everything around, and I'll resize it to fit. It's just frustrating. It's one extra step when there shouldn't really be an extra step there. And as you see as I'm scrolling through these home screens, that little sheen right there, it's kind of like the Sense weather animation. It's not really necessary, but it kind of looks cool, I think. And again, it doesn't slow down the phone at all. I mean, this thing is just zipping through these home screens. I can't tell you how impressed I am with how fast this phone is. It is absolutely amazing. So with the introduction of ICS, they started adding in folders to the launcher. This, on Gingerbread, actually has folders already. They're not as intuitive. I really like how on ICS you can pick up an icon, drop it onto another icon, and it creates a folder. What you would do here is long press, add a folder, and add a new folder. And then you pick it up and drop it into the folder, and it's there. If I open that up, you can see them all. So it comes in, it's really nice, but it's not as seamless, I guess you would say, as the ICS implementation is. And I haven't been able to find a way to rename them yet. It may just be me, but I'm not sure if that's possible on here. Another thing that ICS came with was the ability to remap these icons down here, which is a huge plus. I mean, I don't understand why that wasn't added much earlier. But on here, of course, you can also change that. I can change that to calculator, I can change the phone to Citrix. I'm not actually sure what that is, but it's one of those features that seems to get overlooked in stock Android, and I don't understand why that was. I mean, every single home replacement app out there was, one of the main features was the ability to remap the icons. So it was nice to see a couple of these like core features that we look for in replacement launches built into the MotoBlur launcher. And of course, everybody loves their lock screens. I mean, CM has 5 or 6 different lock screens. Gummy has all kinds. I mean, everybody loves lock screen options. Something really cool about this one is the lock screen on this. It's really slick. It also has the camera shortcut on here, which was something that was also introduced in ICS. It seems like Motorola was really ahead of the game with a lot of the things. They brought in a lot of what became ICS features beforehand. You can also toggle sound and vibrate and unlock and all that. So it's nothing crazy new, but it's very slick. Again, I mean, this is really fast. There's no lag whatsoever, and it just adds a couple extra things that are nice to see around. I also have to say I was really impressed by the camera on this thing. It's not as great as a Galaxy Nexus camera, but it's still really good. The HD recording was absolutely beautiful. But here, let me take a couple shots and compare them against a Galaxy Nexus picture. So I'm going to put this right here and take a picture of the exact same thing. Okay, so here's the picture that I just took. It's incredibly crisp. The colors are really nice. I mean, no complaints whatsoever. Now, if we compare that to the Galaxy Nexus, so here's a picture on the Galaxy Nexus taken from the same vantage point. So here are the two pictures side by side, basically the same picture. It actually looks like the colors on the Droid Razr are more true to life, but as you see, it's not quite as crisp and clear as the Galaxy Nexus is, and obviously the camera is nowhere near as fast. I mean, if I was trying to snap a picture real quick, the Galaxy Nexus is obviously the way to go. But I mean, overall, this device has really impressed me. So I've always been the first to talk crap on Motorola users. I mean, everybody knows Motorola is not the go-to manufacturer. I always loved their hardware, loved their devices, but the whole fiasco with the bootloaders, I mean, it's enough to put anybody off their devices, and understandably so. But this device, I mean, man, it's so nice. I haven't really played with it enough, like day-to-day stuff. I mean, as you see, there's no SIM card in it. This is the GSM model. I'm on Verizon, so we have CDMA and LTE. But I mean, it's amazing. I can't vouch for battery life. I can't vouch for like signal or anything, any of the hardware stuff. But man, is it just a nice phone to play with. Thanks for watching, and tune in next week. I'm going to take a look at twerp on the Galaxy Nexus. Make sure that you watch Roots Live tomorrow night. We're giving away a Transformer Prime if you can remember the password from last night's show. If not, maybe out of luck. Maybe they'll throw in a little something for you guys anyways. Alright, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe and follow me on Twitter at R2doesInc.